These families in Sukur in Sindh province are waiting to get their relief payments. Pakistan's government announced a sum of 25,000 rupees, or around $112, for every family whose house has been destroyed in the recent floods. But many, like Khalada Bibi, still haven't received anything.
I went to the bank, but they told me that the payments are finished. Then we came here and they also told us that the funds have not arrived.
Tens of millions of people across the country are battling the worst monsoon floods in a decade. Homes, roads and bridges have been washed away and vital farmland destroyed. Flood victims have taken refuge in makeshift camps that have sprung across the country. Many have walked for days to find shelter, food and drinking water.
We have been stuck in water for 4 or 5 days. We have struggled to survive. We got out of that mess on our own. We walked for 4 days.
Pakistan's planning minister says the recovery will cost at least $10 billion.
People have actually lost their complete livelihood. Their orchards, their gardens, their agriculture fields and crops have been destroyed.
Around 45% of cotton crops have been washed away, a serious blow to the country's textile sector, which makes up the majority of its exports. While severe damage to fruit, vegetable and rice fields have caused food prices to soar.
Prices have increased so much because of the floods. Goods can't be transported from Balochistan. The roads are closed. The prices of goods have increased many folds. Our business here is almost slowed to a stop.
The government expects serious food shortages in the coming weeks and months and says it'll take up to 5 years to rebuild the country of 200 million people. Islamabad has declared a national emergency and appealed for international help. The first relief shipments from Turkey and the UAE began arriving on Sunday. The UN is calling for urgent international aid.
The United Nations is issuing a flash appeal for $160 million to support the response led by the government of Pakistan. These funds will provide 5.2 million people with food, water, sanitation, emergency education, protection and health support.
Separately, the IMF approved a $1.2 billion bailout for Pakistan on Monday. That money is aimed to help the already cash-strapped economy avoid defaulting on its debts. But with a third of the country underwater, those funds may run dry much sooner than expected. Tayyibe Aydin, TRT World.
Well, let's get more on this now with economist Ali Khizar, who joins us from Lahore. Good to have you back with us, Ali. Sadly, the death toll from Pakistan's floods looks set to rise even further, but the damage to the economy has also been quite immense. Tell us more about the toll that this disaster is having on Pakistan's economy.
You're absolutely right that it's a very devastating flood. And it has really affected a large area of the crops. It's more of a flash flood where the rain comes down there on the south, and from the south the water goes around, and that has damaged majority of the crops in Sindh, be it the cotton crop, be it the rice crop, the vegetables on the left side of the bank, and then on the South Punjab there's a cotton crop that's been damaged, but the sugarcane is a bit more resistant. That's remained resilient to this, but overall the loss, and then there is a big loss in terms of the infrastructure, roads, bridges, with hundreds of thousands of houses that have been affected, then 30 million people being displaced, and they're moving to the urban side, the migration happening. So roughly speaking, about 8 to 10 billion could be the rough estimate of the loss there, but it's with passage of the time, we get to know more about the loss and all that. But this is an unprecedented kind of rains happening in the part of Sindh and Balochistan, especially.
That's right. Let's talk about inflation now, because we know that rising prices was a big issue for Pakistan in recent months. It sparked several protests. But now food prices are rising even further because of these floods. What sort of pressure will this disaster have on inflation?
That's a very big disaster for Pakistan, especially because the inflation was very high, as rightly put. So that the inflation last month came up to 27%, and the sensitive price index is about somewhere 45%, and is approaching 50%. So there were the reasons for the high inflation. One was the delay in the pass on of the petroleum prices, with the impact of the international prices or taxation being imposed, and electricity tariffs have significantly increased, and that has an impact on overall economy and the currency depreciation. That's contributing to inflation. On top of it, now floods came. So the impact of the immediate impact of the floods is in terms of the hike in the prices of the perishable vegetables like tomatoes and onion, who are very staple in use in Pakistan in everyday cooking. And on the left bank of the Sindh, these crops are usually being grown in this part of the season, and they're being not they're all wiped out. And Pakistan is not importing from the India. It used to be back in days, so there is no supply, and the prices are skyrocketing. And then there will be a cascade of effect on the prices of many other items, and you would see this the rice price would go up, as well as the traditionally rice consumption was low in Pakistan, but lately with the new generation that's growing as well, and not a
Yes.
big part of the rice has gone down. And then you would see the government maybe announce a higher wheat support price to have a better wheat crop, as there's some losses in its godams in the Sindh as well. So you probably see a bigger increase in the prices. It's a very difficult situation
That's right.
for the
And
inhabitants.
Ali, one solution that the finance minister is proposing is importing food from countries like Turkey and Iran and even India, a country that Pakistan hasn't really had any meaningful trade with for a long time now. Do you think importing food from those countries will help the food crisis in Pakistan?
Absolutely. I mean, the crisis is in Pakistan, and we don't have few crops over there. We don't have tomatoes. We don't have vegetables to cater to our government. We don't have enough wheat in stocks to cater to that, and we don't know how much this would affect the wheat crop as well. So we need to import those foods, and we need to go into as quick as possible, especially from the vegetables. So opening a trade with India is a very healthy sign. I mean, any economy in the world cannot really grow without trading with its neighbor. Iran and India, two Pakistan neighbors, we should improve with them, and Turkey is one of the old friends of Pakistan, and there are direct linkages over there. So we should import these foodstuff from here, as we are in the need, and the market prices are high. If we import them, they'll be able to settle the market demand, and the prices would come down, and people would have the supply.
Okay.
So Pakistan should take this as a food security issue.
Okay, Ali Khizar, we will have to leave it there, but really appreciate your thoughts there from Lahore. Thank you.